Exactly how do you receive your psychic wisdom, your powers, the information that comes to you? As Mwanabadimu, I know that my body is the first point of reference when something is amiss in the spaces I'm in. Have you identified how you receive your communication from your ancestors? Oh, there you are. Tawazan, Kinna Gogo Moyo. Actually, you are one of the Clairs. You just don't know it yet. There's different kinds, in fact. Clairaudience, Clairvoyance, the list goes on. Stay tuned to find out exactly which of these you are. I figured that I was a few of them on this list. Enjoy. I'm talking about psychic powers. Yep, we all have them. It goes as far as even the sixth sense. You have it innately, but you don't notice it until you pay attention. As we know that there is energy in everything. And if you don't pick up on the things going on around you, you get to miss exactly what those moments are speaking to. It's important for us to learn how to ground ourselves. If we're able to ground our physical, then our emotional gets more heightened because we draw inspiration from all the things around us. When you practice mindfulness, you're able to notice exactly how talented you are. For instance, if today you lost your sight, you would heighten your hearing by virtue of not being able to see. So now, besides the fact that you can maybe use your eyes and hear, how many other ways can you pick up on the energies around you? And that's exactly what we're talking about today. Remember, anything you don't use, you can't get better at it. So think of your psychic powers as something that you can actually explore and play around with. If you don't use it, you never actually get to learn how good you are. The first being the popular clairvoyance, and it speaks to sight. People who are clairvoyant are generally spatially aware. They can feel things around them, perhaps even if an object moves or energy shifts and changes. People like this generally enjoy reading books because they are able to imagine a lot of the things that they read. They're great at design, at architecture, as well as colors. Their associations are being made by the things that they take in with their eyes. Most importantly, these people are able to see actual presence, see ghosts, see things that otherwise other people wouldn't necessarily pick up on. I know, myself growing up, I used to be sitting on the couch watching TV with my sister. Only for me, at the corner of my eye, I'd see a figure. I'd turn over to my sister and ask, "Yo, can you see what I'm seeing? It looks like this, like this, like this." I would mention in detail all the things that I'm seeing. And I was actually seeing a grandfather of mine and how he used to clothe himself when he was alive. My sister would shrug over and say, "Actually, I do." So such things are able to be affirmed by people that you spend time with, and they can mirror back what it is that you're able to do in psychic powers. There is an organ in the center of your brain, and it is known as the pineal gland, and it absorbs lights and translates it into color. So that is how you are able to see the color of someone's aura. It translates it into the visualization of something. Generally, our pineal gland is affected when there's full moons because they take on too much information. And that's how, as gifted, sighted people, we experience the moon based on it being received by the pineal gland. Secondly, we have clairaudience, and that speaks to smell. There are people who generally can pick up on any smell, and there are some that can't even smell a thing. But now we're talking to those who can. These people are generally also affected by very strong smells like perfumes that eventually give them headaches, even if it smells okay for the other person. Everything is heightened, especially when it comes to psychic powers. When it comes to ubungoma, clairaudience is seen via being able to pick up on the smell of umqombothi, the rain or blood, especially when you know that some of these things are associated with ceremonies and rituals that give us the rite of passage. Clairgustance is speaking to the taste. Some people, much like wine tasters, are exceptionally good at it because they can identify the region as well as the year that a particular grape was harvested to make the wine. These people can naturally pick up on extra information that you and I otherwise wouldn't notice. Fourth, we have clairsentience. This speaks to emotions. A person with such an ability is easily able to read a room, where you can even say stuff like, the tension in this room could be cut with a knife, because you can pick up on the information that's been shared, even post a meeting, not just even during it. These people are also very good with animals, and the best careers lines for them would be into psychology. Generally, people who use clairsentience are able to even identify how the person next to them is feeling. They can even have great advice for them, but they generally struggle with advising themselves. Second to that would be psychometry, and that speaks to touch, where you can be able to take an object and handle it, and while you're handling it, get information out of that object. You can find out when was the last time it was used and what it was used for. Like, for instance, being able to step into a crime scene, being able to figure out exactly where the furniture used to sit and the happenings of the events that went on in that space. Psychometry is not part of the 6, but otherwise would be the 7th unofficial way of having psychic powers. 5th on our list is claircognizance. Yep, you guessed it. It's about knowing. Have you ever gotten a piece of information that came to you while you're just chilling, minding your own business, and you're like, to you, it's so bold in energy that it feels like a fact, but you don't know how you know it? Usually people with claircognizance are people that are able to identify when someone is lying to them. They have an amazing truth barometer. These people also are amazing at trivia because they can retain information. Finally, we have clairaudience. Audience, yes, it speaks to sound, what it is that you hear. Such people are amazing at making music. They grade music, they work with music, because they can identify the different beats, drums, flows, etc. that otherwise you and I wouldn't hear. These people are possibly very good at a lot of languages because they can hear the different sounds in each. Also, they are very good at identifying accents. One person that comes to mind is Jamie Foxx. That person can basically impersonate everybody down to his breathing and consciousness of the voice and the accent as well as the language. These people can also hear information and hear things or words being spoken out loud. As Mungoma, there's times when you could be working with a patient or maybe going about your day. Then you literally, audibly hear a sound of someone giving you instructions. Those would be your ancestors at the time, and that's what makes it a psychic power. As an empath, it's not very easy to go around touching people. So sometimes we shy away from hugs. We really don't mean any harm. We're just trying to avoid taking your energies along with us. Something as simple as a hug can lead to me feeling the remnants of it as I go about my day and not really realize what affected me. Remember that grounding is very important. All the different ways in which you can use it and try attain it. Through using crystals, taking baths, having a systematic self-care regime is going to help to your grounding. This is all too important for us because everything stays on our physical. Because we're also very spiritual, if our physical is lacking, then we cannot sustain our energies. Remember guys, something that you don't use, you lose. But if you use it, you get to be better at it. So go along, blindfolding yourself and walk through your house and see if you can actually see the physical corners of the walls, the different sounds that echo through your home and what they mean to you. Go on, test your psychic powers. It's important to know exactly how good you think you are. I have been your host with the most, Gogo Moyo. Remember to join our growing note gang. Subscribe as well as hit the bell icon. That was me for you today, Togozan. Clairvoyance, Claircognizance, Clairvoyance, and Clairaudience. I repeated the same thing.
No, just mention two.
There is an organ in the middle of your brain called the pineal gland, and it takes in light and it translates it, it absorbs to you. It's so bold in energy that it feels like a fact, but you don't know how you know it. Usually people with Claircognizance,